Today, the new Superman trailer was released, and what a great way to start the day. Waking up to a brand new Superman trailer. I've always liked Superman, and I'm particularly excited about what I see, especially considering the transition away from the Snyderverse style DC films. While Zack Snyder's take on the DC characters was, in my opinion, not bad, with James Gunn now co-CEO of DC Studios and his upcoming Superman feature slated for July 11th, 2025, there is a lot of anticipation. Gunn has a strong reputation from his work on the Guardians of the Galaxy films for the MCU, Peacemaker, and other projects including the animation that kicks off the new DC Universe Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, with Creature Commandos. His unique approach to Superman and what we see in the trailer gives us an idea of what he aims to build now that he has a creative control over the DC films. It's interesting to see how initially this film was titled Superman Legacy and now simply Superman. This change makes sense though, as it marks the first Superman film in this new transition to the DC Universal films. As someone who's not super critical of the DC films thus far prior to James Gunn, watching James Gunn's take on Superman in the trailer, it's pretty clear that this version is much lighter in tone compared to Snyder's darker interpretation. The colors are brighter, and the overall feel is much more optimistic, hopeful. Superman is depicted in a classic suit with iconic red shorts, which even adds furthermore to the retro vibe. Now, from my perspective, having enjoyed Snyder's portrayal of Superman, what I see is a pretty refreshing change. The lighter color palette and music invokes a sense of hope, which is something that Warner Bros. DC desperately needs at this moment. In contrast to Snyder's grittier, more serious films, Gunn's approach definitely feels revitalizing. While I appreciate Snyder's work, I recognize that Gunn is aiming for a different tone. It is essential to differentiate from the past, especially given the controversial stylistic choices associated with Snyder's films. And I'm genuinely excited to see what Gunn has in store. Some may have mixed feelings about the new direction, but I'm pretty enthusiastic about the vibrant colors and nostalgic callbacks to the Christopher Reeves films. I'm particularly looking forward to Nathan Fillion's Green Lantern, Nicholas Holt's portrayal of Lex Luthor, which appears to be, in my opinion, much more menacing than Jesse Eisenberg's interpretation. The inclusion of characters like Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and even Krypto, Superman's dog, adds an interesting dynamic to the film. It seems that Gunn is moving away from the gritty realism that has characterized DC films since Nolan's Batman trilogy, returning to the essence of comic book film. What is even more intriguing is that Gunn is not constrained by the MCU's history or DC's influence. He is starting from scratch and has expressed a desire for the films to stand on their own, reminiscent of the early MCU films before the introduction of the Infinity Stones and Thanos. Overall, I'm hopeful that James Gunn will invigorate comic book films. I'm sure we're gonna get discussions about whether DC or MCU is better, but that's pointless. I appreciate the fact that we get to have these films to enjoy. Personally, I would love to see Henry Cavill return as Superman in the future, perhaps in a parallel universe storyline. Either way, I'm curious to see Gunn's direction with Superman and David Cornswith's portrayal of the character. Although I have not watched the original Christopher Reeves films in detail, I do find this direction to be very, very refreshing. It feels new, it's colorful, it's engaging, the music sounds great, as if I'm about to watch a comic book film come to life for the first time. I'm genuinely looking forward to it and having some good fun on the big screen. Until next time.